The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello, good morning, everybody. My name is Jenny Duong, Product Marketing Manager for Sage X3 here at Sage Asia. Thank you so much for joining our release webinar today. Today, our session will be hosted by Khanh Nguyen, our Regional Product Manager for Sage X3. Khanh will be sharing and presenting the new features in the latest release, including features such as project milestone billing and revenue recognition improvements to the product. She will also be covering the Sage X3 product roadmap for the rest of 2020 as well as into 2021. And she'll also briefly cover the Sage X3 lifecycle policy as a friendly reminder to our partners and our customers. And lastly, today's session, there will be a question and answer session at the very end, just to answer any questions that may pop up throughout the webinar. And just so that all of you know, we will also be sharing a recorded version of this release webinar once this session is completed. And with that, I would like to introduce our Regional Product Manager, Khanh Nguyen.
Okay, thank you very much, Jenny. So good morning, everybody. I hope that you are grabbing a coffee or tea. And just please bear with me for 90 minutes. It is my pleasure today to be talking to you. I will walk you through the session and address all the points as we go. And the agenda today looks like that, and already Jenny already mentioned. So I will especially highlight the new key features and enhancement that we released for 2020 R1 and R2. And then after that, I will read out the roadmap for the next the rest of 2020 and then also 2021. So let's, as just a reminder for those, maybe some of you are already aware of that. We've been now in the quarterly release cadences, as I shared with you during the last webinar in March. So today I will be briefing you for these two releases, okay? And then for 2020 R3, which has been just released this month, I will come back to you for the next webinar where we will include 2020 R1, R3, and R4, okay? So we continue to deliver enhancements and new features while focusing on the three pillars that you are seeing on the screen. It is all about focus. So we are focused on delivering capabilities that support product-centric businesses and the circular economy, such as recycling. Okay, so everything we are doing, we are designing, is to allow customers and partners to embrace change and speed and thrive in an ever-changing world. Especially, we are now living the pandemic, and then we are going to live a new normal. So it is all about providing solutions to accompany our customers. Especially also for the transition to the cloud technology, and to empower our Sage ecosystem so that our partners can deliver end-to-end processes that differentiate and innovate. So in terms of the product capabilities, the Sage X3 development teams have been organized in 4 key layers. The first key layer is about customer and partners' experiences. The second one is about targeted horizontal and vertical capabilities. So one of the examples is the project management, which is a horizontal capability because we are covering the project management across the value of business operations, from the sales, purchase, inventory, manufacturing, and of course project management, and also the CRM in X3. So this is, it means horizontal capability. Another horizontal capability is about the multi-company management. Okay, so and then the third layer is about innovation frameworks. Actually, to be able to get X3 ready and open to connect with third-party software, such as IoT solutions or blockchain, or even to be able to bring machine learning in X3 in the future, we are working on the innovation framework behind the scene. Okay, so that to get X3 ready in that case. And then also the last layer is about to provide powerful platforms and of course technology enhancements to enable our customers and our ecosystem to deliver end-to-end processes. Okay, so for these two releases, 2020 R1 and R2, we deliver the key features as follows. In the financials area, we have delivered some improvements for the multi-company capability, especially for the opening of periods and closing of periods at one time. And then for the revenue recognition related to the project management, we have delivered the actual calculation through analytical dimensions, and then some enhancement of posting and accrual management for the project management revenue recognition. Another very nice feature, a small feature in the journal entry, users now can manage if they want to have to manage negative amount in the journal entry. Okay, then for the integration part, we continue to deliver some improvements for the advanced bank statements. For the distribution and project management together, we have also delivered a new feature, which is management of non-invoiceable deliveries for project management, and also project milestone billing. So project milestone billing is sitting between distribution and project management areas. And for another area, which is the version management in X3, is also between the distribution and manufacturing. For the distribution side, we have enhanced the existing reorder plan function by taking into account the version management now. And then in the manufacturing area, we have also enhanced or improved the component replacement function in relationship with the version management. So for the compliance part, even though it's not relevant yet in our region, but I would like to share with you that we continue to deliver new capabilities on our new VAT framework improvement for the other regions. So, and then for the cloud and platform areas, we have delivered a very nice, very user-friendly feature, which is user forecast to manage global notification in Sage X3. And as you know that we have been in quarterly release cadency, so we continue to improve the easy patching process. So that is why we have delivered some new parameters for the patch integration. So now let's go to the functional highlights, where I will highlight the main key features in these two releases. So the first area is about the multi-company capabilities. So what is new here? So previously, users who managed more than one company, let's say two companies, they needed to open periods or close periods of ledgers company by company. So if they have only two companies, it was still okay. But if they have to manage more than two companies, it became a little bit tedious task, because they have to repeat the task of opening and closing. So to enhance this capability and also to improve the user experience by minimizing repetitive tasks to open period and also to close period, we have introduced two brand new functions, which are the multi-company period opening and multi-company period closing functions. Of course, this feature is more for our target persona, such as heads of accounting or accountants. So here on the screen, you see two brand new functions, multi-company period opening and multi-company period closing in the common data module. Okay, so it's very easy to use. Of course, when you launch the multi-company period opening and closing, you have to key in the criteria that you based on your needs. Okay, then the next area here is the project management capability. The first new capability is to manage non-billable deliveries from project tasks. So what does it mean? Actually, our target persona or technician or engineers who are working on projects whereby they have some tasks. On the task, they have to deliver some part of equipment or machinery without invoicing those parts. So they want to deliver, to create a delivery in X3 for this. So user now can create non-billable deliveries within the delivery function. And in this function, you know well, that there is a new picking list, which is introduced to select for the users to select the deliverable task product. So let's go to a use case I prepare just to illustrate what it is. So let's say that I have a project. I have to design and assemble a Blaze server solution, which is a web server, to a customer. Okay, so then during the project cycle, my team, the engineering technician in the team, they have to deliver some equipment or machine allocated to some project tasks to the customers. However, those parts are not billable to the customer, which means that the delivery won't be subject to be invoiced, which means that the sales admin or the sales operation team do not see these deliveries in their workbench to invoice. Okay. However, the project will be invoiced per milestone completion via a new feature that I will also present to you later in this session. So let's now go to X3 so that I can illustrate what it means for you. So I'm going now to the project management function. So here is my project NA64, and this is a very brief description of my project, and this is for my customer NA001. So first of all, I want to illustrate to show you what it means by my project is billable per milestone completion first. Okay, so I'm going now to my task. As you see here on my project, I have planned 5 tasks. Okay. Then in X3, to be able to invoice my customers, I have at least one sales order created from my project. So I will go now to my sales order, which was created before this demo, just to illustrate my, the features. So you see here on my screen, this is my sales order 15. So I'm going now to the sales order function. Of course, to show you that this sales order was created. And then on the sales orders, the system has already generated automatically scheduled invoice of my sales order, based, of course, on some presettings that I will come back. Okay, so which means that my project will be able to be billed, to be invoiced based on a schedule, and then also based on milestone. Now I'm back to the project management. I'm still on my project. I'm now going to show you what it means about non-billable delivery. So I'm going to the task planning. So I will be focused on this task T040 solutions shipment, because I know that I have two products here that I have to deliver to my customer. Okay, so you see here consumption mode is direct delivery. So on these two products, I have already allocated them from the stocks. Okay, so allocated. Then these are the four key information related to the feature I'm explaining to you. Quantity to deliver, being delivered and delivered quantity, and also deliver status. So quantity to deliver, it's just to tell me that I have to deliver, I have planned to deliver two quantities, two pieces for the first product and then two for the second one. And then being delivered, this on the second product, I have one here. What does it mean? It means that I already have created the delivery of the second product with one quantity, and my delivery is not validated yet in X3, so that is still being delivered. Okay, then this delivered quantity means that I have created my deliveries, and I have already validated the deliveries in X3, and of course at that moment the system will update this information, these four fields for me. Okay, so now I'm going to the delivery to show you how I can create a delivery for non-billable costs. Okay, so I'm going now to the sales module, and I'm going to the delivery function, and there is a new entry transaction delivered for this new feature, which is non-billable delivery. Okay, so now I'm going to create a new one. I know that my shipment size is NA013. Then there is a new delivery time, which is non-billable, also presetting delivered by the system. And then my customer is NA001. Okay, so I know that you are very familiar with the delivery function in X3. So now it's just to show you that we have now a new picking list, which is task selection, where I can see all my projects, okay, where I have equipment or machine, etc., planned to deliver to my customer. So as you see here, this is my project 64, and this is my task T040, where I have planned to deliver two products, BMS 1113 and 1114. If I want to deliver these two products at this time, I just click on the task T040, and the system will load all the information related to these two products to my delivery function. So it's very easy to, okay, I'm not going to create because I want to keep my data for another demo. So I'm going back now to my slide. So the next capability in the project management area is the project milestone billing. So our target persona for this feature is project accountant or project manager. It depends on the company. Okay, it depends on how they organize their processes. So users want to manage the project billing process per milestone completion. So to make their billing process, of course, more efficient and ensure project items will be correctly invoiced on time. Okay, so we have provided this ability for the user to build projects through scheduled invoices, which I have just shown you, on which a milestone is associated and should be closed. Okay. Then within the sales invoice function, we provide now the capability for creating milestone invoices based on the scheduled invoice linked to the completed or to the closed account. Okay. So I just prepare a flowchart for you to facilitate, or to follow me a little bit more easily for those who are not familiar with the project management in X3. So let's say that I have a project. So I created my project in the project function. Okay. And on my project, of course, I have budgets and I have tasks. I have planned budgets and tasks. Okay. Then because from this project, I want to invoice, of course, to my customers. So I have the possibility to create sales order, at least a sales order for my project in the system. And based on my presettings, the system knows that I want scheduled invoices for the sales order. So the system generates automatically scheduled invoices for me. Okay. Then, but I have to, as a project manager or as a project accountant, I have to decide what milestones, okay, of my project that should be associated with my scheduled invoices. Okay. Once my milestone is closed, I will be able to invoice my customer on the tasks that have been completed. So here is some screenshots, but I'm going to X3. I'm going back to X3 to show you. So this is the project my project 64. Okay. Then on my project, I created a sales order, and based on my presettings, the system generates automatically scheduled invoice. Okay. And then also with the new capability, we have also delivered an inquiry function where users can, can concern all the sales order of their project that they may have, invoices, scheduled invoices to invoice. So based on the criteria, selection criteria, user have to key in to select the right data in that case. So in terms of the user experience, it's very nice. So now I'm going back to my X3 and to illustrate what I have just explained. So this is my project 64. Okay. So I'm now, as I explained, I have already a sales order created on this project. I'm going now to my sales order. And I want to see my scheduled invoice for the sales order. So the scheduled invoice was generated automatically, as I mentioned, by the system based on some presetting, especially the invoicing term. As you see here, 20%, 30%, 40%, and 10%. What does it mean? I have at least 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 in scheduled invoice, and 20% is 20% of the total amount of my project that I will invoice to the customer. And for the second scheduled invoice is gonna be 30% and etc. etc. Then on my schedule invoice, I have to associate the project milestone. So either I can select, I can click on the selection and I can choose which milestone I want to associate to my schedule invoice. So here you see for the first scheduled invoice, I have associated or linked to the task T010. And then for the second scheduled invoice, I have linked to task T020. Okay. So now I'm going back to my project 64. I'm going now to the task planning. So my task, you remember T010, okay? The status of this task is closed. And T020, the status of this task is launched. Okay? Now, in the second session, I'm going now to the invoice function, where I will show you how to create milestone, billing invoice. So I'm selecting this entry transaction. I hit new, and I know that my sales side is at A013. Then my customer is at A001. So for this new capability, we have delivered a new picking list here, which is scheduled invoice section. So when you go there, I'm going in and I hope that I can see my sales order, which is 15. So here we are. So if I drill down this sales order, of course, this one is the sales order line. And then the system is telling me next invoice, I'm a little bit late because I keep this data for this demo. So my next year's invoice should be created on 24th of June. And I drill down, and you see here I have only this line. It means that the 20%, the T010, but because T010 has the status closed, but the second scheduled invoice has T020, which whose the status is still launched, not closed yet. So I cannot invoice to my customer. Okay. I'm not going to create. I want to go back to now to my slide deck. So the third new capability for the project management is the project status must update. So why did we do that? Why did we do that? It's again, first of all, is to facilitate our target personas work, who are project accountants or project managers. So we want to improve the user experience. So we provide now the ability to update the status of multiple elements of a project or a range of projects, such as budgets, tasks, and operations, all at once to simplify the project status update process. So what does it mean? If you have only 1 or 2 projects to manage for the whole year, it's quite, in that case, if you want to update the statuses, it's quite still okay because you can update one by one. But if you have like more than, let's say, 10 projects or 20 projects to manage, and then you have to update a lot of statuses because some projects are very complicated. So this new capability allows to update to do the mass update in that case. And we have delivered this new capability within the project cost structure or project task planning in the project management function. And also we have delivered a brand new function, which is project status update. Okay, so these are some screenshots, but I prefer to go back to X3 to show you. Okay, so again, I'm on my project 64, MA64. If I go now to the cost structure, which is where I have planned for my budget of the project, okay? So if, within the list, now we have the status update. If I go there, I can, this is brand new, and you have, you know, by selecting this option, you can update the status. I'm not going to do here because I want to show you in another place, which is the same thing. And then it's the same thing for the task update. Okay, so you have also status update here. Okay, so these are new. This new capability can be accessible within the project management function. Now there is a brand new function which is more which does the same thing, but it's a separate function, which is status update here under the project management module, where also I can select, I can do the status update, status mass update by a range of projects, for example, or by, you know, from company to company, etc. So let's say that I will stick to my, all the way to the same company, and A013, and then for my project, I will select A64. Okay, so now I have you know, multiple choices of criteria, but this criteria is very important to explain. Either you can, you know, you select your project, but and then after that you want to see on the budgets planned on the project, okay, or you want to select on the tasks planned on the project or on the operation. So operation is the lowest level, but you cannot combine, you cannot see one, you cannot see all the project, all the tasks, and all the operation at the same time. They are exclusive criteria, which is logic. Okay, so now, as we are familiar with the task since the beginning of this session, so I'm selecting all my tasks here, and I make a search, and you see I can see here my T010 status closed, and then the others. Okay, now I want to, let's say that I want to update the statuses of these two tasks, so I select. Either I can select all, or I unselect all, or I can select individually, okay, the task. So let's say I'm selecting these two tasks. Then I want to update. I want to update the status. So they are launched. So let's say that I want to close them. So as soon as I click on the close status, the system will show the close status here. But as long as I have not saved my modification, the system doesn't update my database. It means that the data you are seeing here is only on the screen. And then for what purpose? Because I want to update this task T040 with another status, not with the close status. So I have the possibility to stay in here. I have not saved yet my modification. I click on this one, and I go back to, you know, to change. I want to update this task to, let's say, suspend. So now I'm happy with what I have I wanted to do. Then I can save my modification, and the system will update the status in a mass. You know, it is a mass update. So which is quite it is very nice feature for the user experience. Okay. So back to my slide. Now another area, again, it's related to the project management, but also to the financials areas, which is revenue recognition capability. So this capability has been released in the previous releases, but we continue to improve or to enhance this capability. So that is why you see you are seeing the revenue recognition in a couple of releases. So the first enhancement for this time is to for user to calculate actions from analytical dimensions point of view. So as I explained, is to extend the capability for tracking project revenues and costs in the financial area. In the previous release, users were able to calculate actuals from a project cost standpoint, but now it's also from analytical dimension. So in a nutshell, users have the choice of tracking project revenues and costs either by project code or by analytical dimension. Because of this new feature, we have added some new fields within the revenue recognition rules and also within the revenue recognition calculation function. So our target persona, of course, for this kind of feature is either for project accountant or project manager. So for those who are not familiar yet with the revenue recognition process in X3, I have prepared a snapshot of the process just for you to follow me a little bit more easily. So let's say that I want to track my revenue recognition for my project. So first, I have to have revenue recognition rules created in X3. And don't worry, because we have already delivered out of the box revenue recognition rules based on the IFRS or GAAP standards. Of course, some companies, they have their own revenue recognition rules to do, so they can customize what we have delivered. Okay. Then once I have created my revenue recognition rule, I can assign my revenue recognition rule to the project where I want to track my revenue. Okay, then to be able to calculate the revenue recognition, there is a step in X3 which is to generate financial snapshot. So it's a function in X3. Why? Because the calculation of the revenue recognition should be based on a financial snapshot that you launch at a point in time. You know, or maybe at the end of each month. Because during the month you may have invoices invoiced to your customers, or you may have received invoices from your suppliers related to the project. So you have to have a financial snapshot in that case. Okay. Then once the calculation of revenue recognition is done, then you are able to verify amount which are calculated by the system. And if you do not agree with the system, then you can adjust manually. Okay. Then after that, you validate your amount, your calculation, your revenue recognition. And what the system does here is the system will toss your revenue recognition into the accounting. It means that it will generate journal entries in that case. Okay. So these are the revenue recognition rules function. So bear with me because the function name is quite confusing if you are not familiar with this feature in X3. So what I wanted to highlight here is within this existing function, we have added the calculation basics by dimension, and then some fields, of course, related to dimension to this capability. Okay. And then also we have added some fields related to the dimension in the existing revenue recognition function, but this one is for the calculation. So let's go to back to X3 so that I can show you. Okay, so I'm going now again to let's say to my project. This time I'm going to select this project, so FR52. So as I mentioned to you, to be able to track the revenue recognition of a project, you have to have a revenue recognition rule that should be set up beforehand, and then you you link that rule to your project. So let's say this project I have already linked to this revenue recognition rule. So I'm going now to the revenue recognition rule just to illustrate what have been added to the so now before we had the calculation basis only based on the project code. Now we have another choice, which is dimension. And when you choose this as dimension, what does it mean behind? It means that you have to also to set up which dimension time you want to check for the project. So to be consistent, actually, we have already a dimension, which is also PRG. And then, even you can select other dimension time, either by cost center or by market or by product, etc. And you can even specify a value, dimension value. Okay, if you do not specify, the system will take the dimension that has been already set up by default for this dimension time. Okay, so I'm back now to the revenue recognition, to the project management. So another function, which is the revenue recognition calculation, okay, I'm going to show you now, where also thanks to this new capability, so I'm on the project 52, I am now in the revenue recognition calculation, not rules. Then you see we have the calculation basis dimension, which is a new field, and also the dimension type is PRG. And because I have calculated already the revenue recognition of this project, and then the system, consider my dimension coming from the project, which is this one. Okay. So I will go back to this because these are the results of the revenue recognition rule. If I validate the next feature, I will go back to show you how the journal entries are generated in that case. Okay, so now I'm back to my slide deck. So the next capability, new capability related to the revenue recognition is about the posting enhancement. So again, we continue to ease the rollout of the revenue recognition process in X3. This one provides the flexibility and improve the account definition via some new setup capabilities such as parameters, automatic journals, and accounting codes. So it's more for our consulting, professional services or our partners consultant to set up the right accounting rules based on the business requirement. Then when the system generates journal entries of your revenue recognition, the system will be based on this new setup to generate the writings for you. So it's more flexible than before. And also this capability also allows to manage the accrual, so which is sales accruals or invoice to be issued. And also the generation of the reversal journal entries likewise. So our target persona is, of course, this time is project accountants. Okay, so what does it mean, accrual management in that case? So thanks to the posting enhancement that I mentioned, we have in the revenue recognition rules these three fields. The first one is adjusted net recognized revenue calculated. Oh, so this one is calculated by the system based on the rules here. And if the amount of this one is negative, the field, there is another field which is sales accrual that will be populated by the system with the negative amount coming from here. So what does it mean, sales accrual? Actually, it means that the company, my company, has invoiced for a project. Okay, the company has invoiced more than what was estimated for the period based on the project completion percentage. Okay. And then what if this amount is calculated, but positively? If it's a positive amount, the system will populate the invoices to be invoiced. What does it mean in that case? It means that the company for that project has invoiced less than what was estimated for the period based on the completion percentage. Okay, so again, there is a snapshot that I have prepared for you to follow me a little bit more easily. So of course, to calculate revenue recognition, I have to generate my financial snapshot, and then I will run the calculate where, you know, all the, thanks to the posting enhancement, thanks to the automatic journals and also some presettings, the system knows that which GL account that it should initialize for my journal entries. And then I have to verify the result of the calculation and adjust the amount where if I don't agree with the system, or okay, then and I validate the calculation, and then the system will post my revenue recognition as well as the, you know, the sales accruals or invoice to be to be invoiced into the accounting and generate, and also the system generates automatically the reversal of journal entries for the next period. Okay, so let's have a look at the some use cases. So the first use case is for the sales accruals. So let's say that this is for my project 55 that has estimated revenue at the completion, which is 30,000 euro. Okay, and also an estimated cost at the completion is this one. My customer has paid to the company, to my company, before the project starts, 15,000 euro. Okay, 3 months after the project started, the percentage of project completion is 24.55. Of course, you are asking me how does this come from? It comes from the project manager. It's based on, you know, what has been done, etc., based on his calculation. So we enter 24.50. Okay. Then I am a project accountant. In that case, I want to launch the revenue recognition of that project based on this completion at the end of the month. So I launch the calculation, and then the system will calculate based on the all the rules and you know, the financial snapshot. The system calculated the adjusted net recognized revenue, which is minus 7,000 something. Okay, so because it is negative, the sales accrual field will be populated with this amount. Of course, there is no sign here. So what does it mean? It means that how is this adjusted net recognized revenue is calculated? Actually, the system will take 24.55 15%. So the completion percentage multiplied by the revenue 30,000 minus 15,000 that the customer has already paid to me in advance, and then so this is the result of the calculation. Sure. Okay. So okay, as an accountant, I verify. I said I'm fine with that. It means that I have, for the end of this month, I have invoiced the customer more than what was estimated in terms of the completion of the project. Okay. Then I verify and I can validate and post the revenue recognition. So once I validated my calculation, the system will generate automatically a journal entry record for the current period with this. Okay, and then automatically the system generates a reversal journal entry record for the next period, because it doesn't mean that I will have to pay back to my customer what I have owed him. It's just, period per period, I have to recognize accurately the revenue. Okay, so all these are generated automatically by the system, which is very, very, very nice and very, in terms of the user experience, it's facilitates the project accountant's work. Okay, so for the another use case is invoice to be issued. So it's on the opposite side. So another project I've got, the estimated revenue completion at the completion is 15,000 euros. Okay, my customer has paid 2,000. 3 months later, the percentage of project completion is 25.52%. Then so the adjusted net recognized revenue is calculated by the system as follows, as the same, what I have explained to you in the previous use case. And then the result of this is the amount is positive. It means that this time is not for the sales accruals, but it's for invoice to be issued. So what does it mean? It means that my company has invoiced the customer less than what was estimated for the given period. So I have to recognize this in my accounting, but it doesn't mean that I'm now going to invoice my customer what he has owed me. It doesn't mean that, okay? But it's just to track my revenue more accurately, okay? So the same thing, I validated my calculation, and it generates a journal entry for that, and also a reversal journal entry for the next period. So let's go now to Act 3, where I'm going to show you the revenue recognition. So this is the project 55, where I have already prepared the data for this demo. The sales accruals is here. So it's exactly what I have shown you in my slide deck. And another project which I also prepared for this demo is this one where I have the invoices to issue. So I'm going back to 55. So I already validated my calculation. I also posted the calculation. So I can now drill down on the journal entries generated by the system. The first one is for the sales accruals. And so this is what you are very familiar with in the journal entry function. And the second one is for the reversal of the first journal entry for the next period. Okay, if you are accountant, you can understand easily why we have two journal entries. The first one is for this period, and the second one for the next period. Okay, now I'm going back to my slide deck. So I'm now stepping in the financial area, where we have delivered a small enhancement, but maybe very useful, which is journal entry negative amount for our target personas, such as heads of accounting or accountants. Actually, why we did that? Why did we develop this? Actually, it was a legal requirement in Portugal, whereby companies are forbidden to have negative amount in their journal entries. So instead of developing that only for Portugal, we know that in some companies outside of Portugal, they used to ask, can we have can we manage negative amount instead of each in journal entry? So we turned it out to a new option for all the our customer across the markets. Okay, so we have provided now the possibility to the heads of accounting or accountants to decide either to authorize using negative amounts in journal entries. So there is a new parameter, and then also some setup at the automatic journals. So how does it work? So if there's the parameter, if you turn on, it means that you authorize your user to use negative amount. If you turn off, if the user try to enter negative amount in journal entry, they will get rejected. And also for when you cancel your journal entry, you have choices now. Either you will reverse debit, credit, debit, or you will stay in the same, but you will use negative amount. And also for the import, for the data conversion, you are able now to also to import negative amount in some, when you switch from your old system to X3, for example. So in terms of the parameters, this is the parameters. I'm not going to detail here. And also at the automatic journal, you have this new option, which is negative amount to tick. Okay. Now, we are now step in the advanced bank statement capabilities, which is like an integration capability in X3. What does it mean? Maybe I know that maybe in this region, you are not really familiar with this feature, which has become a very powerful feature. Advanced bank statement allows accountants to import bank statements downloaded from their bank website into X3. Okay, so this the goal of this feature is to we aim to improve the payment life cycle by automating routine tasks such as matching imported bank transactions to open items or payments in Sage X3. Why is open item? Because in a bank statement, you may have the bank transaction that your customer paid to you, and in X3, you still have open items. You haven't created any payment yet, okay? And you may have in your bank statement the payment that you paid to your suppliers. Then in X3, you have already the payments created. So this feature allows you to match with either open items and payments in some cases, okay? But still, after the automatic matching, okay, user can have hands-on to match manually or to unmatch if user has a doubt, etc. And also, in the case that user agrees with the automatic matching, they can also create journal entries and create a payment in that case. So it's more and more powerful. It's to improve a lot the payment life cycle for the companies or for users who have so many transactions to deal with, and to be more accurate in terms of the cash flow analysis, etc. Okay, so again, I have prepared a snapshot of this workflow because I know that it's not easy for you to follow me. So, as I said, that you download the bank statement from your bank website, and you import the bank statement in X3. For the moment, in X3, we have delivered the following format: MT940 CAMT, which is XML format, and then the others. Some of them are used in Germany, some are in the US, some are in the UK, And then the last one is CSV files, which is Excel. I know that in this region, each bank has its own bank format. It's not like standardized in some other regions, okay? But we have the capability. I mean, X3 has the capability for the use for the consultants to set up for the customers, okay? Then you import the bank statement. Then you start the automatic matching via a function, of course, and then you review the result of the automatic matching. So during your review, you may need to match, some transaction that the system cannot find. Sorry. Let's say that because you have a bank fee for a conversion, currency conversion, that the system cannot find anything in X3 because you have a foreign currency transaction with a customer or with a supplier. Okay, so then if you can modify the result if needed, and then you validate the imported statement, and the automatic matching. At that moment, the system will not only to create the payment on the open items that you have matched with the bank's transaction, but also create the payments for you automatically. So imagine if you have 100 transactions, it's wonderful that the system could help you, could assist you to do that, automatically. And then once you have validated the imported bank statement, this is new in these releases. The system will transfer or will transfer the bank statement data imported into the bank reconciliation data. So the different, what does it do here, the bank reconciliation data? So this function allows users to reconcile bank journal entries created in X3 with the lines of the imported bank statement. So if it was not automatic, user have to do all those steps, and then after that has to do this step separately. Now we are automating, we are facilitating the process. They will gain time, and then in terms of the productivity, it's much more efficient in that case. So this is new for this release, okay? And as I said, that this function allows user to perform the bank reconciliation. So this new capability of course, has to be set up in X3, and we have delivered a new setup here within the bank import settings. This is the new option, and if you choose this option, then as I mentioned, after performing on the process, the system will also automatically transfer the bank statement data into the bank reconciliation function. And then thanks to this new option, you can either, there is a new option, if you agree with the system, you let the system to create the reconciliation for the unknown matching, for example. So I will just go back to X3 and just to illustrate, the bank. I will go maybe set up here. Bear with me a little bit. So, okay, in the setup module, we have bank import setting. And if I choose this one, so here is the new option, okay, post validation transfer. As soon as I I select this one, I'm going down, and I don't want to, because in some cases, not a non-matching user want to generate journal entries in a separate account so that they can work on later. But now, if they can choose, I don't want to do that. I trust the system. I want the system to create the reconciliation for me. Okay, so I'm not going to save my settings. So I'm going back now to my slide. So the next area or next capability in X3 is around the version management, which is an existing one for this for 2 versions, not for 2 releases, for even for V11 and also V12. So now within this this capability, we wanted to improve the user experience of the stock flow management in relationship with the version management. So what does it mean? First, you need to understand what is the reorder plan function is in X3. Actually, this function allows users to run the automatic suggestion for stock replenishments of the locations where there is a stock shortage generated in Sage X3. Wow, it's quite long, but in some words, it's like when you try to allocate your sales order, or you try to allocate your work order in terms of materials in some specific locations, and there is not enough stock, based on the presetting, the system will generate stock shortage. Okay, but after that, you have so many locations, so many stock shortage, you don't know which one. So you will use the reorder plan function to ask the system, okay, tell me what I need to replenish this where I need to fill in my stock. Okay, so the reorder plan is for that. Okay, then what does it mean, the version management in X3? So during the lifetime of a product, some of its characteristics can sometimes be modified by the design engineering, because there are some changes. So these modifications can be tracked back by activating the version management in X3. So the tracking of versions is used at the stock and the manufacturing module levels in X3. Actually, this feature is used by the customers who are in the engineering services or in the discrete manufacturing, sometimes in the process manufacturing, but it's more than on the discrete manufacturing side. Okay, so these are the reminders for reorder plan and the version management. So what is the new feature here? This new feature is within the reorder plan. This new capability consists in using the exclusive function, which you have to set up in advance in the reorder plan. Okay, so this is my reorder plan function that maybe if you are some of you are very familiar with. Okay, so in my reorder plan function now, I have a new field, which is the major version, because we are considering version management in X3. What does it mean, exclusive? Okay, when I allocate my stock for my work order or my sales order, I want only exclusively the versions for such product. I do not want other versions. I want exclusive. Yeah. Okay. So if I have a stock shortage, when I run the reorder plan, the system should look for the exclusive version to suggest. Of course, if there is a stock, if there is no stock, the system will tell me that, sorry, I don't have stock for that exclusive version. So based on that, based on the presetting, when I launch the reorder plan, okay, the stock issue entry that the system may find will match the exclusive function with the stock of the exclusive version in X3. If there's no stock, there's no stock. Okay. Okay. So the next capability related to the version management, again, it's for the components replacement function. Okay, so why we did develop or deliver this feature? Again, we continue to improve the user experience of the components replacement in line with the version management. So this the component replacement is more for our target persona, such as design engineers. So during the design process, they may need to replace some component, with new versions, things like that. So this new capability consists in replacing version managed components in one or range of bill of materials. Okay, so all is happening in the replacement component function in X3. So bear with me a little bit because it's quite a little bit, it will give you a little bit headache to follow me. In the replace component function, we have added 4 fields: major version and minor version for the replaced component, and then major and minor versions for the alternate component. And this new capability has covered 3 use cases. The first one is to user can replace a non-versioned component. So a component is a part of a BOM, a bill of materials. Okay, so users can replace a non-versioned component by a versioned component in a non-versioned BOM. So we cover, the real use cases we have discussed with some customers, okay? Some our target persona. And then the second use case is to replace, users can replace a versioned component by another version component in a non-versioned BOM. And then the last, the third use case is to replace a versioned component by another version component. This time it's a version BOM, but with the status in develop. Okay, so when we talk to the design engineers, they can easily understand. If we are not familiar with this area, we cannot understand easily. But it is again to improve the user experience for this function. Okay, so I will now step in another area, which is maybe it's easier for you to understand. We have delivered a new feature to boost Sage X3 user communication, which we call user forecast. So Sage, thanks to this feature, if your Sage X3 administrator has something to announce, for example, there is a downtime for system maintenance between which day and which day, between which time and which time. Of course, they can send, the administrator can send an email to all the Sage X3 users, but also he can also set up a message directly in X3 so that when Sage X3 user connect to X3, the user can see the announcement. Okay, so a quick demo for that. I'm now going to this new feature, which is in, let's say, podcast. So this is this new feature. Okay, so if I have already prepared something for you, so I set up a message timeline system. And I say, please be informed the system will be available, let's say, from today, from 10 September at 11 p.m. to 11 September at 7 a.m. And the start date for this for this announce, it's 10 at let's say at 1 a.m. and it will be finish at let's say 11, okay, something like that. And I save my, okay, so now if I'm logging out, and I'm logging admin, Oh, what is it? It should be, where's my, normally it should work. Let's see. 1 a.m. Should work. Well, anyway, I'm sure that it works because I have already set up many times. Never mind, it's just a small thing. Normally you I don't know why, but so let's go back to my apologies for that. So besides the key features that I have explained and done some demos, besides that we have also delivered smaller enhancement in 2020 R1 and R2. There are so many. So they are listed and they are explained in our release notes that you can consult from the online help center. So the smaller enhancements have been delivered in the finance area, in the distribution, in the manufacturing also, and in project management, and also for the on the platform side. Okay. Beside that, we have additional information to share with you. First of all, the patches for 2020 R1 and R2 can be downloaded from our partner portal. Okay. Then also the release note can be also you can go through the release note from our online help center. So we have put the links here for you. And for our partners, for our consultants, professional services, we urge you, we encourage you to register to the courses in Sage University to learn more about what's new in 2020 R1 and R2 with more details, of course. Okay, so now it's my pleasure to share with you, to walk you through the roadmap. So in general, our roadmap is for 1 year, and then what has been planned for this next 6 months are quite firm. After that, priorities may change and we have to update our roadmap. So for 2020 R3, which has been released in this month, then I explained to you that we will host another, the next week webinar will be for R3 and R4. Okay, so but in terms of the patches, they are already ready to download from the partner portal. Okay, so for 2020 R3 in September, we continue again to enhance some the revenue recognition. Then for the compliance, we continue to improve the VAT framework. And for the project management, we will be able to estimate the progress on the budget. So there are some new fields. And then on the platform and integration capabilities, there are the features we have planned. So I'm not going through detail because they are very quite technical. But there is one thing that I would like to draw your attention would like you to pay the attention to is the flash deprecation. So we are using the Flash Adobe component to manage the visual processes, and then also the calendars in the CRM in X3, and also the graphical inquiry tool. So we are now delivering. We have delivered the first slides to replace the flash deprecation for the visual process. Okay. Then for the next release, 2020 R4, we continue to deliver a new technology to replace flash deprecation. So we will communicate to partners and to customers in a separate communication regarding the flash deprecation. Okay. Then for 2020 R4 in December, we will deliver the first slide for the withholding tax, generic withholding tax management. Keep in mind that we have to deal with generic. We cannot, and then after that, each country has its own, each government has its own way to manage withholding tax. So we will provide a framework to manage withholding tax first. Okay. Then also revenue recognition again for some miscellaneous improvements, and we will have the first line of progress billing sitting in between the distribution and the project management. And then we will have a very nice project billing center also in that case. For the manufacturing, we will have a brand new function, which is new product design and new product introduction. This one is to for companies who wants to design the products before the production. So we will complete fill this gap into X3, and then for manufacturing, especially for the web scheduling, which we are going to launch also in Asia in the next months. We will have new features such as product campaign and product setup metrics in 2020 R4. And then for the platform on the integration capabilities, these are the new features. Okay. Then 2021 R1 in March, we will have also the first slide of bad debts and AR write-offs, and again VAT framework. In terms of the currency management, we will have in the distribution area new ADC function for distribution, the first slide, but this is only for the cloud version. It's not yet for the on-prem version. Why it's not yet? Because of the security aspect. The architecture, for the cloud and the architecture for the on-prem is quite different, and we have to make sure that if it's for on-prem, the data security is also there for the customer. So we deliver first for the cloud. Okay, and then for the project management, we continue. We will deliver a weekly timesheet, which is new, and then the performance enhancement, some performance enhancement for cost structure and task planning. For the manufacturing, we continue to deliver the next slice of the new product design and new product introduction. So in terms of the compare revisions and managed prototype. Okay, so you may ask before, if we didn't have this feature in X3, what did the customers do in that case? Either they can manage in Excel, or maybe they have a separate tool. And then now we are bringing this requirement in X3. After that, to ease the manufacturing process. And then for web scheduling, we will integrate the bill of materials, work order materials, inventory data, and purchase orders from Sage X3 into the web scheduling to be able to take advantage of the availability to place capability inside the web scheduling, not in X3, right? Available, not in X3. Web scheduling is offering a capability for the availability to promise. Okay, and then for the platform and integration capabilities, those are the features that I'm not going to details. And then for 2021 R2, which is in June next year, we have planned for down payments. We have planned again to enhance multi-company. Each time is for payments and for general. So down payment in X3 is something that exists, but it's very, not, it doesn't cover complicated requirements. So now we will have pretty cool down payments, but I don't have any details yet. Okay. So for the compliance, we will continue to work on the VAT framework, and for the distribution, we'll continue to deliver some new ADC for distribution in the cloud. And then for the project management, we will have the recurring billing and service contract management. Okay. Then the manufacturing, we continue with the new slides for the new product design and new product introduction. And this time is for to manage approvals, because once the a bill of materials has been designed by engineers, they need to manage approvals from the other stakeholders in their companies. So this will allow them to do that, or during the design process, they can do that. And also how to release a new product to production. Okay. And then platform integration capabilities. We continue to enhance many things in these areas. And I stop here because it doesn't make sense to plan beyond 1 year. Now, I still have maybe a couple of minutes left. Just a very small update or reminder, because we believe that you have been informed about the product life cycle. Partners and customers were informed. So just a friendly reminder here is for version 6, 7, 8, the end of maintenance was on July this year. And then for version 9, it's on the next year, July next year. And for version 11, we have now been in the standard stage, and then the extended stage will be on the 3rd of January 2022, and the end of maintenance of version 11 will be on the 3rd April 2020. So we really encourage partners and customers to discuss and to see how you want to plan to upgrade to the latest releases. So for version 12, it's a little bit different, because we have now delivered quarterly release cadences. So the life cycle is a little bit different, that which I'm not going to the details, but in total, for each release, so every release, 3-month release, right? You have the whole cycle is 15 months. Okay. Then that's all. Thank you very much for listening to me and bearing with me within 90 minutes. Thank you. Back to Jenny, please.
Perfect. So before we end this session, I just want to make sure that we go through any questions and answers that have come through. So if you do have any questions, please insert that into the questions chat box. You'll see it in the GoToWebinar platform. For now, I did have one question that came through, Khan. So the question is, do I need to be on the latest version of Sage X3 in order to use the features that you shared today? Or are all the features and improvements applied to all the versions of Sage X3?
No, you do need to have on the latest release to take advantage to benefit of the new features I have shared with them. You have to be on the 2020 R2. These are the features I have shared is for R1 and R2. So you have to be on the latest release, yes, at least.
Thank you for that. And if you have any other questions, we'll just give it one more minute for the audience to provide their questions. If not, we can wrap up the session on time. And please note that after this session, there will be a survey that is prompted after we complete the webinar. So if you have time, please fill that out. And again, we will be sharing out a recording of this session for you to review again. And I think it looks like we don't have any questions come through. Khan, did you want to share any last comments or notes to the audience?
No, I think I'm fine because I I was too talkative already. So
Okay, perfect. Yes, so I think that we'll just wrap it up today. So if you have any questions, feel free to email myself or Khan, and we will be providing you with the recording of this webinar as well as the presentation slides. Thank you very much.
thank you, Jenny. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you,
Have a
everyone.
nice day. Bye.